Welcome back to the Tribal Lines podcast. My name is Pat Johnson, joined by my co-host Stephen Lupo,
What's up, guys?
and joined by some friends, some familiar friends, some friends that the pod haven't seen yet, but all familiar friends just from the Survivor community. So, want to introduce Govind. What's up, Govind?
Hi,
Govind's back, ready to chat.
that I am.
There he is, Govind with his picture behind him. We got Jay West next to me. Me and Jay West gonna do this live in action together.
Humble Pie team, Humble Pie.
Yeah, dude's got
I'm drafting with my team,
We got Mr. Jared Roth over here with the tank top, not surprised.
What up, guys? Thanks for inviting me on the pod. I'm excited for this today.
Of course. Thanks for joining us. And then we got my girlfriend, Madison Brown.
What is up? This is Madison Brown, and I'm happy to be here. Really excited to discuss these players.
All right. So we have Govind and J West joining us again. They were with us for the finale podcast recap of Survivor 44. And the new people joining us to guest host is Jared and Madison. So Jared, if you want to give us a little introduction.
Stephen, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Jared Roth from Hoboken. I've been watching Survivor ever since I was 8 years old with my twin sister who cried when Kelly Wigglesworth lost. And I'm excited to be drafting players today. Not that I'm good, but it's a lot of fun. So let's get to it.
All right, thanks. And Madison, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, lovely to be on the pod. I'm Madison. I'm from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, the mushroom capital of the world. And I've been a fan of Survivor all of my life. My first email was to Stephanie LaGrossa as like a very small child. So super fan. Can't wait to discuss these players and do some drafting.
All right, awesome. So yeah, we are going to be drafting all 18 players. We got 6 people here, so we'll have 6 teams of 3, and we're drafting who we think are going to win. So it's not going to be based on points. Once the draft is over, we'll watch the season out, and whoever has drafted the person who wins is going to win the draft. We also have a grenade in play. And that means that if one of the people you draft is the first boot, then you have to pay an additional $20 into the pot. Everyone is pitching in $20, and the winner is going to get the whole pot. So it'll be definitely very interesting to see who wins. We did a little Brant steal with Kagayan members. We all randomly picked 3 people, did a Brant steal, and whoever, based on when you got booted, was the draft order. So the draft order today is going to be drafting first Pat, then second will be Madison, third will be Jay West, fourth will be Jared, fifth will be Govind, and I got 6. So I got 2 back-to-back picks, but then I'm left with the last person who wasn't drafted. So we'll see how that plays out. All right. Does anyone have anything they want to say before we kick things off?
I do actually. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I'm the guest. I shouldn't go first.
I'm the guest.
We're both guests.
This is my second time. It's your first.
I just had a conversation starter. Do you think there's any optimal draft pick here? I think we were talking about that.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of good options on the board.
So to stop his question, because I want to answer that as well. But what if you don't know a lot of the players' names off jump? Because I know who I want to pick, but I've been giving them names in my head.
Pat will help you out.
I've known these names for like a month at this
Perfect.
point. I've been studying them hardcore, so I'll help you, Jay West.
Perfect. All right.
I'll definitely be doing a lot of research. I think a lot of other people have been too.
Yeah.
As far as the optimal draft pick goes, I think it depends on what you're looking for. Like, are you looking for someone that you're pretty confident is not going to go pre-merge? Are you looking for someone who's definitely not going to be first boot? or you're looking for someone who you think's going to win the whole thing. So it just depends on what you're looking for with your draft.
Well,
I'm looking
that's
for-
easy. Like Ricky Bobby, you ain't first or last. So I don't if I have the grenade and the winner, like I don't care as long as I get the winner. That's all what it's all about. But I just think that someone like Steven, who's picking 6, even though you got the back to back, you get stuck with that last pick. So I think you want to be higher in the draft personally. But
Yeah, I'm gonna pick. I pretty much get the spotlight once. I get to pick 6, 7, and then I'm done for the rest of the draft.
right.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say I do think if we're gonna talk a little bit more, I do think a girl's gonna win this season. Ooh,
Oh, hot take.
hot take.
I also think a girl is gonna win this season.
I can see it.
I also do.
Yeah.
And I could see it. And what I noticed when I was kind of like doing a deep dive myself prior to the podcast was out of all the casts of the new era since 41, 42, 43, 44, now we're at 45, I see the most like winner equity like sprinkled all over the place. Like I feel like there's a lot of people on this cast that like I could see winning. And that's just based off of, what we have content wise so far. But, I could see a girl winning. Could certainly see one of the guys winning. A lot of big characters. So I'm super eager to, to dive in. And, I got the first pick, so I'm going to dive on in. We're going to get this. We're gonna get this rolling. So I've been having a battle. I've been thinking about this for about a week. I want to go one way, and then my mind's telling me to go another. So when I'm thinking about this, I'm kind of similar to Jared here. I'm going for the gold. I'm going for the winner. Someone I could see winning. And I'm picking first overall, Mr. Jake O'Kane.
Reach!
Wow.
Reach!
Wow.
I'm taking Jake O'Kane. Yeah. I don't know if that's a bad first pick. We'll see if it ages well. But for me, I think he has everything that it takes. He's a big super fan. He works with kids. He works in theater, so he's very vibrant. He's very ambient. He's got a lot of life to him. And he says he doesn't put himself in one world. And that's something that I think works for a lot of these new people in the new era. If you can get along with a lot of people, if you can, know your opponent, I think he's going to be able to read people great. I think his only problem is playing too hard, or his only problem is going to be, big move-itis. So I don't know if we'll see if that, will come back to haunt me or not, but I've got good vibes from Jake O'Kane. I'm taking Jake.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
I'm also shocked. Are we allowed to say where
Oh
these
yeah.
Okay, I had Jake as 9th in my ranking.
Yeah.
And I watched all of the content that we have available, and I think he's a good guy, big pack the can, have it, yad vibes out here. But one thing of note is he was wary of Kendra, the Colorado chick with the earrings. And they're on the same starting tribe. So I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic right off the bat, because there were a lot of people in that Rob has a podcast stuff saying, kind of like bouncing off the question, not giving names. But Jake was just like, I'm not really vibing with the chick with the earrings and the curly hair. She's not giving me the smiles that I'm looking for. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
And I definitely have my concerns with Jake. But I just really wanted him. I didn't know if I would have the chance to draft him. I was going back and forth between him and someone else on his tribe. I ultimately also think that they have the strongest tribe. I think that they will see tribal council the least going into the merge. So I'm high on him. I think that he will do significantly well. I think, if he doesn't win, I think he's in, at least the final 8. So we'll see how it shakes out. But without further ado, Madison, I'll pass the torch your way.
Well, I do want to say something a little bit more about Jake. Well, one, he has this extremely strong Boston accent. So that'll be interesting to listen to all season. But he said that people like Todd and Chris Vanuatu from Vanuatu, how they were big bullshitters in the Final Tribal Council. He said he wants to be kind of like them in the game and also at Final Tribal if he makes it there. I think he'll be able to lie really well. I think just his personality from watching his interview, seems like a lot of people are going to want to work with him. But yeah, I feel like he might later in the game try to make some big moves or possibly clash with one or two people and be seen as a threat. So I don't know about if he'll be able to make it to the end, but I think he'll be able to make it decently far.
I gotta weigh in. I don't want to take too much time, but Jake was one of my bottom picks. He was on my like do not draft list. I keep looking off to the screen because I'm like, who's my draft list? Who's my do not? He was firmly in my do not. First of all, he's an attorney. There's one of three attorneys. There's three attorneys on this season, and I haven't done the statistics on how attorneys have done in this show. We'll have to go to Pat for that, but I believe they don't do that well in Survivor.
But I think he's different because he's not someone that's been in that world for a long time.
Right,
He doesn't I really think that, you know, I think that he's been through a lot and that led him onto that path to want to be an attorney. And I think that I don't know, I don't see him going the same trajectory as maybe the other attorneys, but we'll see. But
Yeah, that's fair. Look, the Bostonians have done well in this show. So I will also, say that as well. But the one thing that really deters me is that, look, I didn't, do a ton of research. I've done limited research, but one thing I did read were that he has 3 words that describe himself, and the first word he uses boisterous. And to me, when you're like loud, you're vocal, you're putting yourself out there, that could be a turnoff. And I'm very concerned he may come off like that. And just be an early boot just because you don't want to hear his Boston accent all the time.
it could be true. Yeah.
Maybe I'm a hater because I'm a Yankee fan, but
We'll see.
you know,
I
also-
got high hopes for Diego Kane, so we'll see
Yeah,
how,
he also
see how it
said-
ages, but yeah. I'm
He
with
also
it.
said that he wants to work with Bruce if he gets on a try with him, so that could also be a connection that will help him out. And he said that he feels like when people are trying to lie or tell the truth, if they're cursing while they're trying to make their point, a lot of people end up believing whatever they're saying a little bit more than if you weren't. So he said he's going to try to curse a little bit more than he usually does in his daily life to hopefully get people to believe what he's saying if he's trying to lie, which I think could work well for him.
That's so fucking true, my guy. So fucking true.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Madison, you're up. Let's go. Let's do this.
All right, I'm taking the torch.
That's
My
it.
turn. I'm gonna go with Sabaya Broderick.
Mm.
Good pick. Good pick.
like that.
Thank you. My reasonings, I think personally, like I really understand and feel like she's also a veteran. She has a really good attitude. She was very down to earth in all the interviews and even just like written interviews that I read. She seems very, very friendly, but she's also not afraid to get crafty. And that's really important because a lot of times when you have these really sweet, like good attitude, friendly people are going to underestimate them. But if they have that underlying ability to get crafty, I have full confidence that she's going to be able to propel herself to the end of the game. I also think that she said that she likes Austin and Caleb. I think one of those are on her starting tribe, and I think her starting tribe is just like very, very strong. So feeling good about that. And yeah, any thoughts on Sabaya?
I like her. I'm pissed that you said her. That's how I waved my hand. I was
Yeah,
like,
same. I thought I was gonna be able to maybe get her, but
no way, you're 6. But
I don't know. I was hoping other people would go ahead of, but I still got plenty of the people.
I think she got a lot of I don't know, gravitation towards her to where she talks. I think people are going to want to talk to her. A lot of people said they didn't like Caleb in their preseason talks, and I think she liked Caleb, and that's going to be his saving grace. So, I like her. I'm pissed that you said her. It's not too much to say now because it's still early on, but
I like her a lot too. Just one real quick that I heard her say is that she wants to work with people that are very unexpecting to be in an alliance. And I just find with the small tribes and the swapping that it's very difficult to pull that off because you're kind of whoever you're with in the swap, you're kind of like it has to be that person. If they were bigger tribes, you can pull off that strategy a little more, but I don't think that'll be an issue with her because I think she's very likable and has a great story.
Yeah, she's hoping that her perception is like warm and endearing, and she has this southern accent that I feel like a lot of people are gonna think that of her, that she is warm and endearing and want to work with her. She also said because she was in the Marines that she's used to being a leader, so she wants to kind of take charge in her tribe. A lot of times leaders end up getting voted out early, but I feel like the way she'll lead will be very nice, and I feel like not a lot of people are going to be upset with her taking charge, especially because for me doing interviews, watching the interviews of the rest of her tribe, doesn't seem like a lot of people want to be a leader. So, she can be the leader for that tribe. She was also at Ponderosa. She wanted to be aligned with people who seem to be more like followers rather than leaders, so that she can be in charge of the people that she's aligning with. And so something that she was looking at in Ponderosa was who would wait until someone brought their plate up to the workers and then right away afterwards bring the plate up, so that it wasn't like they were like standing out. So she was like trying to pay attention to that, see who's followers, and then those people she's probably going to try to align with. So I think that's a smart strategy. I think she'll do well. The only thing I'm nervous with her about is it seems like her tribe is probably the weakest challenge wise. So if they go to tribal a lot pre-merge, she might get through the first few, but then once like the tight core group that she might be in starts turning on each other, I could see her maybe being like a last minute boot before the merge. But I think if she makes the merge, she'll make a big run.
Yeah, I'm big on Sabaya myself. I had her high. I had her in my top 5. Didn't want to take her first overall for the sole reason that Steven just said. I do think that their tribe will see tribal the most in the pre-merge, just based off of looking at all the tribes. But I do think that she fares well. I do see like maybe her and a Caleb and maybe like Hannah and Brandon, something could happen there with the 4, maybe, her and Sean as well. I think there's a lot of, different ways for Sabaya to work through there. So I'm excited to see how she does. I'm high on her as well.
Do we agree that the yellow tribe looks like the weakest, like the one that's probably going to go tribal? Like
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
At least twice, maybe 3, but at least twice.
Who do you think is strongest between red and blue?
I think it's kind of close. I feel like maybe blue, but I don't know. I feel like they'll be.
I think red. I think
I think it's close, but I think red as well.
Yeah, I changed my answer just by looking and getting red.
I like red a lot too.
I feel like red has 2 really strong guys, probably the 2 of the strongest guys on the cast, but everyone else seems to be kind of weak-ish.
Yeah, but I think they can do puzzles.
D is strong also, but like I feel like the others are a little weaker in the challenges. So
yeah,
but I do think that red and blue will be the strongest for sure.
I agree with that. Red maybe I think could be good at puzzles. But...
Yeah.
We want to use this time to not only thank you guys for listening to the Tribal Lines podcast, but remind you to subscribe and to keep following for more that will be coming. The more Survivor we get, Mr. Jeff, the more podcasts that we can podcast. And that makes Steve and I very happy. We also want to use this time to remind people, follow competitive events, especially if you live on the East Coast or if you plan on traveling there. Follow Johnny Stockton, follow competitive events. If you want the closest thing to the real game and you want that experience and you want to build those connections and you want to see what you're made of, competitive events is where you need to be. That is who you need to follow. We will get right back into the episode. We want to thank you guys again for tuning in. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back to the Tribal Lines podcast. We're in a bit of different formation, but we're going to pass it back to J West. J West, make your pick.
Okay, I told you guys I think a girl's going to win this season, and I'm going to go to blue, the second strongest tribe, and I'm going to go with Kelly. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Kelly, yes.
Great pick.
I like Kelly
Great pick.
she's from the city. She's a nurse. And she made a comment stating that she wanted to be like I think Survivor's first lesbian winner, and I think that's going to, make her play aggressive as well. So I'm excited to see her play.
Yeah, I think about Kelly too that I found interesting is like she's been in like the casting pool for like a little while now, and then she was like an alternate and maybe got like that last minute so she's gonna have like, this is my one shot, this is my meant to be shot. I think she has a great story. I think she has a great light around her. I wouldn't want to vote her out. She'd be the first person I'd go up to and want to align with. So I think that's a great pick. Kelly, I love you. Let's go.
I would like to say real quick that I had Kelly 17th place out of 18 in my draft. I do not see her doing well.
That's
I
why.
see her being first boot or whenever her tribe goes to tribal council first. Not to say she's not an amazing person. I just don't. I don't know. She's gonna have to prove me wrong.
Why? I would like to hear some context here, just
Yeah.
because
You
The
need more
context is
I'm so
Kelly.
high on her.
The context is Kelly. Like, I don't know if it's like it's probably a personal bias, but a lot of the nurses that I know aren't actually that nice. And you've got therapists on this tribe. You've got a lot of down to earth people. Kelly came out here and be like, "Oh, my profession is what's gonna make me win this game." When all these other people also have professions that think that they're gonna get to the end. I don't know. I just think with as many big personalities are in this cast, she's gonna have to like kind of swallow that pride a little bit and just get to know people for who they are.
Nice. Anyone have anything else to say about Kelly?
Yeah, she just seems like someone who people are going to be drawn to, people are going to want to work with, and she also said she's not afraid to manipulate people and be cutthroat if she has to. Her working as a nurse during COVID in New York City, she's used to high pressure situations. I feel like that's going to help out with Survivor. She also said that she's happy to see Bruce here, so the fact that they're on the tribe together, she might want to align with Bruce. She said she wants to align with the girls if she can, so that'll be interesting to see if she does end up doing that. But she also said she can always bro down with the guys, so I feel like she'll be able to, get along with a lot of people and be well insulated in her tribe.
I have two quick hitters. I'm sorry, Steven.
No, go ahead, keep going.
I'm just waiting for your pauses, homie. Two quick hitters for me. The first is that she didn't start watching Survivor until COVID. I'm like, I don't love that. Just being like, I want to be on this show. I've been watching since 8 years old, but you know what? Good for her. Better late than never. The second thing, which is why I really like her, is she leans into authenticity. There's a lot of people that on this cast I feel that do lean into that. I do feel that they're just, you gravitate toward them, right? So I like that she leans into authenticity, and I think she'll do well because of that.
I think it depends on who's on her tribe, because honestly, if I was on a tribe with Kelly, I would try to get her out first.
All right, yeah, I mean, she also said she wants to work with people who can be vulnerable with her. So hopefully she could find people like that. I feel like a lot of people who get on Survivor, just from like all the sob stories that we constantly see, I feel like a lot of people are able to be vulnerable, so that could help get her some allies. And she also said that it'd be a red flag if somebody offered to go on the journey and they didn't just do like a rock draw or a stick draw. So if someone does want to go on the journey and says that, Kelly said she wants to target that person. So that's something to look out for when we watch the first episode.
Absolutely. All right. With that being said, we got Jared up next. Jared, make your first pick. I'm eager.
Jared on the clock. So I think it's important to give context into like what research that I do. And I look at this site, EW.com. It's like entertainment. It has like everyone's like write up bio, like the 3 words to describe themselves, Survivor player they want to be like, why you think you'll win, etc. I do the video that does the cast intro, that they like talk about themselves a little bit. And then I find out what tribes are on. And that's it. And everything else is instinct. And after all that, I'm going with a guy that I think will not only do well, but I really like him. Blue Tribe. So I was afraid with J West. I do think a guy is going to win this game. Maybe I'm biased. And I'm going with Brando Meyer, coming out of Washington State. Here's why I like him. First of all, he has a lot of characteristics about himself, a lot of things that I personally like. He's a big baseball guy. He's a big Pokemon guy. And his pet peeve was people that take the urinal next to him when there are open urinals. That pisses me off beyond belief too.
Oh yeah.
All the people that are urinal, people.
Hate it when people do that.
Yeah. So I was looking at
got a couch in her bathroom.
Oh, he's also loves puns. Like I can't say enough good things about puns. I don't care. It's the lowest form of humor. Puns are awesome. When it comes to the survivor play, I just think he's a non-threatening person. I do like that he is using Brando as a nickname. I foresee that as a way to be kind of a little more carefree, a little more easygoing by leaning into that. That's my prediction. I know there's another Brandon, so that's why he did it. But I like that he's the one that's taking the nickname. And his 3 words were curious, clever, and motivated. Wants to play like David Wright. We all know how well he did. And the last thing I really liked about him before I let you guys judge my pick was that in an era of betrayals, it's really important for him to align himself with a winner that he feels would be proud of. I feel like a lot of people pick alliance people that are easy to beat, and he wants to play with strong people, and I just respect that a ton out of him. So Brando on my team with the 4th overall pick.
I love that pick. Brando was also on my board, so at least this is not making it a very hard decision on who to pick 6 and 7, because out of my top 7 people, they just keep getting taken one after another. But yeah, I think he's going to do really well. He says he's friendly, charming, strategic, like Yao Man. He's like a mix of Yule and Cochran, being cool, calm, and collected, goofy, and smart. He says he didn't go as crazy as Carson as to build his own 3D puzzles, but he did print out and practice a bunch of puzzles before coming on here, survivor puzzles. So I think that could help, because he said that he thought his perception was going to be as a smart puzzle guy. So if that's his the perception that people have of him, he wants to live up to it. So he wanted to prepare himself to be good at puzzles. He's a big numbers and stats guy, which I love about him, because I'm a big numbers and stats guy. He also, in his life, he had lost 50 pounds, and there's also Jake, who I think lost like 80 pounds, maybe.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight
he lost a lot of weight too. So that's something they could bond over, which I think will allow them to probably work together. And his friends described him as a lovable liar. He likes to lie to his friends for fun, to see their reaction as a joke. I feel like that's going to help him a lot in this game, that he's going to be someone who, everyone's going to love, and he'll be able to, make up lies and manipulate them however he sees fit to help his game. And the allies he wants to work with are places where he might be missing out on. So like a muscular guy he wants to work with, someone who has a job where they socialize with people a lot. So I think that'll work well for him. But the fact that he wants someone who's good at socializing with people in their daily life, that's the only red flag I have for him, that he might not be as prepared for the social game as everyone else. But just from watching his interviews, he seems like such a lovable guy, and I think he'll do fine making strong relationships with people. And he said he wanted to work with Bruce, so that's another person that wants to work with Bruce. So I think that's good for him. He'll have good options of allies.
He also said that Caleb was very high on his radar from the first impressions, which I thought a couple people were saying, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah. I like Brando. I think he's a great pick. I think like Jared said, I think he's like pretty non-threatening, especially when you look at the other like men on the cast. I think he'll be able to maybe skate by, build really good relationships. I think it helps that this cast seems to be on the younger side as it is. So his inexperience maybe might not be as big of an issue as it would be on another season. So definitely high on Brando. So
and he's the youngest one in the cast, and it seems like the last few seasons, whoever's the youngest in the cast makes it very far, and a lot of people trust him and think of him as, like, the older people think of him as a little son. The middle-aged people think of him as a little brother. So I think that will also help him get far in the game as well.
Yeah. All right. Now we got the 5th overall pick with Mr. Govind.
Okay, before I begin with my pick, I first need to apologize to the viewers. So you've had to sit through now almost an hour of the most asinine picks I could have imagined. It's truly novice behavior, the way in which people have approached this so far. The fact that people were applauding this last pick, which has such first boot upside is insane
Exactly.
to me, especially given the way in which this draft is structured. So
Exactly.
I'm happy, like clearly
I love Govind.
talking. I'm not about this. I'm here to win, and more so than anything else, I'm here to not lose my first initial $20 via the win.
That's right.
So when you look at people who go out first in a lot of these seasons, right? They're oftentimes the young nerdy types, the people who they don't think are going to be able to hold their own. I'm instead going to optimize for a group that I strongly believe are not going to be the first boots. In addition to that, also ideally have a fair bit of like personality behind them as well, so that if things go my way, I could also see a possible winner from the people who I'm picking. And in my opinion, like this stuff is so insanely hard to like predict a winner. Like it's mainly a crapshoot. So the one thing I think I can have some control over is whether or not I'm choosing a first boot. And I think Jared did a great job at trying to optimize his chances of choosing a first boot, and I don't want to do that. So with that, I'm going to be picking somebody from, I believe they're on the Red Tribe. It is Nicholas Sifu Alsop. I might have mispronounced the name there, and if so, apologies. But I think perfect. Sorry, go for it, Pat.
He's going by Sifu. So you
Sifu.
were,
Yeah,
yeah,
Sifu.
so you were.
Sounds good. So with Sifu, I think that perfect blend of somebody who's going to be extremely strong in challenges and not an early target as a result of that, but also radiates such great like positive energy that from a social standpoint, I think everyone's going to want to work with them. And as far as like things go in like this new age, you see that like energy matters most. There's so many swaps. You're always having to make new friends. And I think the process of being able to show that to the rest of your tribe that your challenge asset is going to be huge, and that's not really something you can prove outside like your own build, more so than anything else. And then in addition to that, if he makes it to the end, I think he's cleaning up shop. Like he's such a lovable guy. I loved watching his video.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good pick too. I love the I gotta stand anybody that's in martial arts and gotta stand anybody that plays guitar, especially in a metal band. So I just like that you look at him and you don't know what you're gonna get until he opens his mouth and you're like, holy shit, there's so much. I want to know like that's how he got on the show. I think he probably I bet that he talked for about 20 seconds and they're like, I need to know more about this guy. So when you're out on the island, you're with 6 people, well, 5 others, you're going to want to talk to people that you're interested in. So I think he's going to be able to, link with social connections like right off the bat. I think great pick.
Yeah, I have him in my top 8. I think I have him at number 8 though. I think he'll do pretty well. Definitely early pre-merge, I think he'll do well. I'm nervous about maybe late pre-merge if they go to tribal. But I think, yeah, he's a big guy. He's going to be seen as a good challenge person to have on the tribe. He's someone who said that he wants to make the challenges about group unity in the challenges. He doesn't want it to be all about him. He wants to make sure like everyone's doing their part, so they don't look at him as like this big physical competitor we got to get out before the merge. And he wants to be someone where he's aligned with people who want to tell them what their plan is. He wants to listen, and then based on that, he can either go with that plan that the person tells them, or he can go to the other alliance in the group and tell them this person said this plan, and then that will gain favor with that side. So I think that's a good strategy for him as well. He did say that if the journey happened again and somebody had to go, he would volunteer himself to go on the journey because he wants to be a part of every twist that Survivor has to offer. And he's also a big physical competitor, so it might not backfire too bad for him. But a lot of times it does end up backfiring for people. So it's definitely going to be interesting who he aligns with, because if he wants to go and he loses his vote, it seems like a lot of times the person who is aligned with the person who loses their vote ends up going home. That's what's been happening a lot in the last few seasons. So that's definitely nerve-wracking for his allies, and then that could possibly put him at the bottom of the tribe for later in the pre-merge. So we'll see.
The amount of research that you've done is palpable and commendable, but can I just take a quick moment to clap back, because I had 2 jabs
Absolutely.
straight to the moneymaker from Mr. Govind here. And first of all, homie, I hope you're right, because I played in 8 live games, and every single time I am targeted because I am carrying guns, even though I am definitely not a member of the NRA. And I really
Are you targeted first, Jared?
no, I am not
Yeah,
targeted.
but that's what Govin's talking about.
But
That's what I'm trying to-
that's because that's not to make this about me, but that's because like I don't come off as like vocal.
Oh, you're just naturally gifted at this game, and Sifu's not. You're
I'm
God's
naturally
gift to
gifted
mankind.
at making the merge again, immediately voted out at the merge. Unless Pat plays his idol. But I think Sifu, I'm gonna call him Sifu, I think he might have a problem with being too vocal. And that again is an issue where we have seen from contestants as a pitfall. The other thing is I can't let you get away with calling shots at my first pick. First of all, the nerds have done very well in Survivor.
Tell that to Zach Werdenberger.
Fishback, Cochran.
Okay, all right.
Christian was gonna win.
Yeah, I can pick and choose first boots as well.
Right now he's playing to lose $20 instead of to lose $40. That's what
I understand the strategy, but I also think he's totally.
I'm also not going that far, Steven.
Yes.
I think that there's not a big difference between Sifu's likeliness to win versus somebody else's likeliness to win. Like, you're telling me that Gabler coming into this would have been the traditional, not somebody.
No. I think Sifu, out of the large physical competitors of the season, has one of the better chances to win than the other really big competitors, but I still don't think he has that great. I mean, he's still my top 8. He's still ranked 8 out of 18, but I don't know.
I just got to say, Brando is the puzzle guy, the de facto puzzle guy on Blue. He will not go off. They will see his he will not go home first. They see his value on that tribe. I look at his tribe, Red, and I think Austin can carry enough with the muscles. Drew's the puzzle, and the girls might be turned off by how vocal he is. I could absolutely see.
Okay, let's make a bet, Jared.
Oh,
20 bucks between me and you. Whoever's Brando or Sifu makes it farther, the other person pays the other person 20.
I'm so in.
Oh, we're doing in the chat.
Absolutely.
I'll take that any day of the week.
Me too.
Okay. I also thought of another reason why I've been saying a lot of good things about Sifu. Another reason why I think he might possibly be a pre-merge boot. So I think so. Jay Maya wants to work with the ladies, and I think all of the ladies on that tribe would be down for an all-girls alliance. I think Drew is gonna be the first boot on that tribe, and then all right. Well, that's what I think.
Wait! You're telling me that the nerdy guy is going to be the first boot on that tribe,
and then Austin.
You're telling me the nerdy guy is going to be the first boot on the red tribe. Am I understanding that correctly?
But he's only the nerdy guy because
people have called him
of looking. But when he talks, he doesn't talk like a nerd. He already is tall and he's athletic. He's just like his build. He's going to come off as useful. Like he's a nerd because how he looks and what
my boy Sifu's gonna be useful. He's a great actor.
But they got 3 strong guys. All right, let's just Steven, it's your turn.
Yeah, Steve. Let's save the Drew talk for the Drew draft pick. But
yeah.
Sorry, Jared. I entirely derailed your clapback. Apologies.
No, that was enough clapback. We got to bet. I'll let the money talk.
Sounds good. Eager to take your 20.
That's right. All right, Steven, go ahead. Steven's got the last pick in the first round, so the 6th pick. We'll see who Steven's got.
All right. We got 3 people left in my favorites category who I think have a shot to win. There's 10 people I think cannot win, or in my opinion, and then 8 that I think can win. All right, so now I gotta. All right, so I gotta choose 2 of these 3. All right. Well, there's one I know I'm definitely going to pick. And then I guess I'll just decide between the other 2 second. I'm gonna pick Brandon Donlin.
Okay. All right.
Brandon Donlin. I can't believe he fell to me. I thought for sure I was not gonna have him. I was looking at everybody else because
you can take him.
But I think he is in such an amazing position to do well in this game. When I was watching the interviews from all the other castmates, A lot of people were saying different things about the different tribe mates based on just how they looked and whatnot, and the eye contact they were given, the smiles, the everything. And he is the person who got the most good things said about him. Has the most people in the cast that going into the game want to work with him, think that he's going to be a really fun guy, friendly guy, laid back guy, someone that they want to work with. His strategy is that he wants to lay low and get to know people in the beginning. He doesn't want to go on the journey. He doesn't want to look for idols. He wants to stay around camp. He wants to just develop relationships, be the fun comic relief of the Survivor game. And I think he's going to do really well. He's set up for when he makes it to the merge. A lot of people are going to want to work with him just based on first impressions. And there's a lot of the people who did, half the people that said that they wanted to work with him are actually on his tribe. So automatically, a lot of people, I think, on the first episode are just going to walk up to him and say, hey, I really want to work with you. And then I think he's going to be set up really well, especially for someone who's going to be possibly going to tribal a lot in the beginning. I don't think he's a pre-merge boot. I think he's practically guaranteed merge. And then if they're down in numbers, I feel like the other two tribes are going to go after each other, and he's going to be in a swing vote position, kind of like Tika. So I think he's going to be in a good position, and I don't think people are going to really view him as much of a threat either. So I think he'll make it very far into the game.
Okay, my thing with Brandon is so I'd met Brandon recently, went to like Phillies game with some other people. Great guy. I have high stock in Brandon. I wanted to take him, but then I thought to myself, like, I wanted to stick to, like, if I didn't know Brandon personally, like, who would I, right? So for me, my fear is the overplay / paranoia, which I don't think that is what's going to happen. I could just see the world where it's possible. I think, like Steven said, Brandon's set up really well. I think if you also look at his tribe, like 4 of those people said like they want to work with Brandon directly. So I think, like Steven said initially off the bat, if he doesn't do too much, if he sticks to his girlfriend's plan, what she said, just be yourself, make people laugh, and he'll be fine. If he does that, he plays that social angle, doesn't show too much of the super fanness, and is able to control that paranoia, I think there's a world where Brandon goes all the way to the end. So
yeah, I also think that out of the people who said they wanted to work with him, Hannah wanted to work with him and said she would feel bad writing his name down. Caleb said he predicted that Brandon would be on his tribe and has been sending him really good signals about, hey, I want to work with you, like, just even though they can't speak, but like, and Brandon also said in his interview that he wants to work with Caleb. He said that he wants to work with Emily because of her playing Pokemon, and he would be able to say some things about that. Emily also said she wanted to work with Brandon. So a lot of people want to work with Brandon. His plan is to get together like a Breakfast Club alliance of 4 people that normally wouldn't work together. And that way, if they go into the merge, people won't necessarily think they're actually working together because they're so different. And that could help them, go under the radar. He doesn't want advantages or idols. He thinks that could just put a target on your back, but he wants to know where all of them are. So he wants to make sure that his closest allies are the ones getting them. Like if he sees a beware advantage, he said he wants to take one of his closest allies on a walk right by it and then have them find it and get it, because he doesn't want to have to lose his vote, but he wants to know what the advantage is, and then they can work together on how to use it. So I think that's a very smart play by him, especially because people who usually have that happen, I said earlier in this podcast, that usually whoever's aligned with the person who lost their vote usually goes home. But if that's the case, I don't think Brandon would be the one going home because of all the connections he already has pregame, just from like people wanting to work with him, just from his energy. So I think he's set up really well. And then if he makes the merge with Jake and Brando, they all 3 of them have lost an enormous amount of weight, so that's something they could bond off of too. Also, something I just think is funny is that he called a bunch of people like nerds, dweebs, fools, Like he's gonna have a great personality. He's gonna have great confessionals. I'm really excited to watch him play.
I'm shocked that I'm actually able to provide more information than was already just provided. But there's just three quick, and I swear quick review nuggets that I have. First, he wants to play like the writers, Mike White, David Wright, Cochran, Penner. All those people have done well. If I take it, yes. His first word, empathetic. He's known as being empathetic. I think that is the best quality to have in Survivor.
Biggest one.
Empathy, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. You know a thing or two about that, Pat. And the third thing that he says was he wants to be the person that he knows what to say, how to say, and who to say it to, and particularly the how to say and who to say it to. Really important. It's not just what you say, but how you come off. I like the pick, Stephen.
Yeah, and I also, just like Pat, I've met him, and he's a really cool dude, and so I'm happy to have him on my team.
I have not met him.
I also have not met him, and I was going to say that before Govind, but Govind said it first. But I have not met him, and I think there's a difference between first impressions and having a good energy about you, and then living in the forest or beach with a person. So I could see Brandon rubbing some people the wrong way, but only time will tell.
Right. Any more words for Brandon?
I think all words have been used up.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, Steve's got the wraparound pick, so put your seatbelt on and get back in because we're going for a ride again.
Here we go.
We'll just say where we're at for so far. So I had the first pick. So on Pat's team, I got Jake O'Kane. Madison has
Sabaya.
J West has
Kelly.
Jared has
The winner, Brando.
Govind's got
Getting one place ahead of Brando, Sifu.
and then Steven just picked Brandon. So Steven, get us ready for the next round.
Okay. So for my next pick, I was between two names, and I've been battling which ones I want to decide, but I think I've come to a decision. This is going completely against Govind's strategy of not picking someone who can be the first boot. I'm about to pick someone who looks like the most obvious first boot ever, but if she's not the first boot, I think she's going to make it extremely far into this game and have a great chance of winning. I'm going to go with J Maya.
Oh man, that's pick.
I think Red's not going to go to tribal very much. And when they do, I think J Maya is going to, she wants to form a women's alliance, and I think she'll be able to get those women on board. And I think that she has a lot of great strategy. She's very observant at Ponderosa, has been writing notes about everyone. So I think that's going to help her a lot in the game. She's taken a lot of big risks in her personal life. And she knows that she has to take big risks in order to get big rewards in this game. So she's not afraid to do that, which I love. She was able to, she told nobody about the fact that she's a songwriter, and she had gotten into Harvard Law School, and then she dropped out because one of her songs went viral. And that's how everyone ended up finding out that she's a songwriter. So like, even though that's just a small little thing, she was able to keep that from everyone. So I feel like she'll be able to lie perfectly well. I think her parents wanted her to go to law school and she didn't. So, and then she ended up dropping out. So obviously she's going to do stuff that's best for her game and not necessarily what's best for her alliance that could possibly not really be what she wants to do. She loves Bruce. She's happy he's on the season. So if they make the merge together, that's someone they could possibly work with. Her and Kelly are people who wanted to form women's alliances. So if they make the merge together, that could get them to align with each other and maybe help Blue work with Red. She wants her perception to be bubbly, friendly, fun, and someone that isn't a plotter or schemer when she actually is. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think everyone's going to think of her as a non-threat when in reality she's going to be doing things behind the scenes. And she also loves puns, so I think that's going to help her out. I always love people who love puns, so yeah, I think she's going to do really well. And let's hear the criticism.
Yeah, anyone got anything for J Maya? I can always respect a songwriter. I think it's cool they have two musicians on the season. They're on the same tribe. Sifu plays in a metal band, so there might be a social link there, be able to talk about music and just, different types of things in that regard. So I know if I was on a tribe with someone that played music, I'd wanna know more for sure. So there could be a connection there. Anybody
Turn
else?
down Harvard Law. Turn down Harvard Law. Not that like indicates you're good at Survivor or not. I just thought that was interesting. I don't think she's close to first boot on this tribe. I think she could be, but I think there are a couple other people on Red that kind of see more first boots for me. So I really like the pick. I think she has a great story and she can do well.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to pick her. Red seems to have so many possible first boots. I feel like all the girls in Drew are probably all up for debate for a first boot. So, but she seems to be one of the weaker and smaller people in the cast, so that could put a target on her back. But I think her social skills will get her out of that first boot, and she'll be okay.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, what do you think, Govind?
Adding one thing quickly. Obviously, you already know my criticism of the pick. I'm not gonna take time on that. I did, however, grab lunch. I think it was like 3 days ago, with somebody in California who apparently knows J Maya, which was pretty interesting. They were saying that their entire family is like extremely like prolific when it comes to like doing whatever their craft is, but it could come off slightly intimidating because they talk about themselves in a way that I think makes it known to other people that they're like good at what they do.
Right.
So it just comes down to perception and the way in which she paints herself. If that is the perception that people also have on the beach, I think that's really, really bad. If they're able to come off humble and use that to their own benefit, great pick. Not as great as my picks, of course, but like pretty solid pick.
I liked her. She was actually my second pick. I'm pissed. But one bad thing I would say, she gives me Erica vibes, and that's a great thing because Erica from 41. Yeah. So people seen her game. People seen Erica play under the radar and win. And same as her. I think she can bring people in, strategize, understand things, and with Govind insight, maybe she might rub some people the wrong way by just, talking too much about her success on the outside of the game. So, I think people might think that she can obviously go because they have a strong tribe. And I think that, that's an easy target after a while.
Yeah. Also, even though this is my pick and I think she's going to do great, one possible bad thing is if there's one girl on that tribe who's close with one of the guys, so much so to where they don't want to do an all-girls alliance, they might tell the guys like, hey, J Maya's trying to do an all-girls thing, and then the guys might try to target her. So I think that's the only way she ends up being the first boot if something like that happens. So let's hope the girls are down for it.
Right on. Are you a trivia person? Do you think you know the game better than anyone else? You have the opportunity to show us. Each recap episode of this season of Survivor going forward, Steven and I will be asking a trivia question. The way you will answer will be by sending us the answer via Instagram. Once submissions close, we will randomly select a winner. Stay tuned for the second trivia question from the Tribal Lines podcast in the premiere episode recap of Survivor 45. We're going to pick up where we left off. Govind, with your second pick, who you taking?
Sounds good. Before that, I want to as casually bring up the fact that J West said during the break that he agrees with my strategy. So I want to hear more on that.
Okay, Jay, you my boy, all right, and Govind, you my man as well. But I agree with your strategy strictly because, like, just looking at the tribes here now, and they can always use that excuse with Bruce. He can say, "Oh, I can do a puzzle. No one's ever seen that before." Like anyone can do like volunteer for a puzzle and lose. And he is a smaller dude, so I just think you might have lost $20. to G. That's all I wanted to say, chat and comment, and the viewers that was watching. That was it. That was all.
Chad, the viewers, the comments, everyone's with us here.
Just
And
gonna go in real quick that I'm Team Jared in this one. I think Brando's
Thank
gonna
you.
be
And just
really
real
Jared, I
quick,
think that's actually a detraction on your argument if Steven's with you.
real quick, if Bruce is doing a puzzle after his head injury, like Mazel Tov. Done a great
Or
job.
Kelly can do a puzzle.
Yeah, you know what? And Santa could come to my door.
Yeah, anyone can do a puzzle except Jared.
He's a puzzle guy from my tribe. But go ahead, G.
All right, go.
Okay. Half of this approach for me is like I've already laid out my strategy. I'm gonna be sticking true to that strategy as well. But on top of that, I also just want people I can cheer for. I think that's half of the fun of all of this. So for the most obvious pick of obvious picks, I'm gonna be going with Mr. Concussion himself, Bruce. And I think it'll just be fun to cheer for him. Many of the same reasons as my initial pick. I don't see a world where Bruce goes home first at all. And I think if Bruce is in a final three, I think Bruce is so charismatic that everyone's going to want to like reward Bruce with money. So for those reasons, I'm selecting Bruce.
I think the only way he goes home first is if he hits his head on something.
Yeah, I feel like if you vote out Bruce, like the unwritten rule is, I don't know. I couldn't vote out Bruce first if I was on his tribe and we had to go to tribal first. I just couldn't do it. That's just me. But I also think Bruce has a lot of things going for him to where I don't know that he's in a great spot if, in 44. Like, I think he's set up better with the tribe for 45. I think everything happens for a reason. I don't know. I think all the women are going to want to work with Bruce. I think I've heard that in the pregame press as well. I think Bruce is just going to have an overwhelming amount of people, like probably all 5 of the people on his tribe wanting to work with him. I think he's going to be in a power position. He wants to go by Uncle Bruce. I think that approach is really cool. He doesn't want to be seen as like a dad. He wants to be seen as like the cool uncle. I think he knows how to read a cast. I think he knows he's on the older side with a bunch of youngsters. So I think Bruce is set up really well. I really wanted to take Bruce. So yeah.
Yeah, 2 people already mentioned that they're nicknaming him Unc or Uncle. So that I think that is definitely going to work in his favor. I feel like he'll be like a dad to Brando. He'll be like an uncle to a lot of the girls. I think Jake also said that he wants to work with Bruce. I think not many people talked about specifically, I want to work with Bruce, except for people on his tribe currently. I think maybe one person on the red tribe, but then there's like 3 people on the blue tribe who said in their interviews, I would want to work with Bruce if he was on my tribe. So I think that's going to give him a good starting point to get alliances going. And I think that he's definitely not going to be first boot. I think he has a good chance at being an early target at the merge. But I don't think he's going first. So you saved $20. Good job.
I just think that's a good take. He could be merge boot because I don't think he'll be first for the reasons you said, but I just struggle to figure out a way for him to win.
Yes.
Well, I think it's gonna be hard for him to get there. I think he's guaranteed. If all goes well, Blue Tribe is strong. He's definitely not going to be the first boot. If he does well in the pre-merge, I see a world where he goes out like at that 9, 8, 7 spot because. You have a guy come back from the 44 injury, get to the end, young cast. He's probably going to be, a role model for a lot of people out there. It's going to be hard for him to get there, I think. But, so I agree in that regard.
I think what's important about Survivor is the placement, like not the placement, but where you're at in conversations as well. And he said in his interview that he stays quiet a lot just to analyze people and how they talk. And if he feels that his name is getting brought up, I think he's just going to, hover people, like use the Boston Rob approach, just like no one leave. He is old enough with some type of pull, but I like Bruce, and I feel like he's an easy person to get out at merge just for that reason alone, because you might be like, hey, everyone likes Bruce. We let's just go for him now. Let's make the game even for everyone.
Yeah, I feel like just because he didn't really get a chance to play last time, I feel like people are going to feel bad for him. And the fact that they got to kind of know him, even the short period of time, him being on 44, will make them want to keep him around earlier on in the pre-merge. But also everyone knew that he was going to be on 45 before coming on the show, so they had time to possibly go through his interviews, read his bio. They know all about him, they know his strategy, if they actually were like going that deep into researching him. So I feel
Let me
like
ask you something on that note, Steven. Do you think anyone on this season has done more research on Bruce than you?
No, I do not.
I'd have to agree.
I love you, homie.
Love you too.
Who's
Is it my pick?
Yeah, Jared's back. Let's go.
Okay. I don't know if this is allowed. I'm a guest, so I'm letting things fly. But I would like to offer to trade down in the draft. If that is
Up into
possible,
it.
I would like to offer
That is allowed.
overall 9th pick and the 16th pick to one of the three, people that haven't picked their second round pick yet. So Madison, Pat, and J West, if you would like 9 and 16 for both of your picks, 1 for 1, I would be open to talking about trading down here.
You're that confident in Brando that you feel confident in. Okay, yeah, back to you.
I want to diversify my assets because I still have a lot of people on my board that I like. So there are 4 people that I don't want to draft, and there are 6 people I do. So I feel like I can afford to trade down and hopefully get 2 of the people I like. So Jay West, Pat, Madison, does 9 and 16 intrigue you for your
If no one's going to jump on that offer, I'll take it. So that's me back to back. That's the only thing.
No, so you have the 3rd pick, right? Or
I'll pick right after you right here.
you pick. So we would just swap picks. So instead of you picking 10 and 15, you're picking 9 and 16, and I would take 10 and 15.
You guys just swap your names, and
It's fine, bro.
you would pick when Jared
got
picks,
an eye on the
and Jared would pick when you
Too
pick.
complicated. That's all right.
I respect it though, Jared. I respect it.
No,
No, I mean I'm flirting with yeah.
I would have taken you up on it. It's just like with the people left, I think we have similar ideas for what we're looking for, and I think I personally would just not benefit from that deal. But I appreciate you taking the initiative. Okay, you taking the.
Well, you gotta be careful in case I take your pick here.
I know, and I'm scared of that. But I'm also looking at the people left, and I'm just like, there are 2 people left, and I'm hoping that you and Jay West just don't.
I'm looking at the Red Tribe. If that makes you, are you leery on that?
Looking at the what tribe?
I'm looking at someone from the Red Tribe. Does that
Hold
make you leery?
It's only
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes,
take the
yes.
pick, Madison. I'm sorry.
Gosh darn it!
Too
You're
late.
lost. Just kidding.
And we talk so much about the Red Tribe, like early first boots, and I just think this person is not going to be a first boot, but I also think they have a great shot at winning because they come off as very likable and non-threatening. It is not Austin. It is actually going to be D. Valadares. I'm taking D. Valadares. That is a
I'm pissed off.
that is a snipe from the
That's my
reaction.
Philly boy.
So
No, he took D, not Drew.
Oh,
yeah, I took D.
I want to taste so bad. Oh.
Here's the deal with D. Like, admittedly, I was not thinking about picking D maybe 30 minutes ago. It was all this talk about the Red Tribe and that dynamics, and I'm like, D looks like she's in a great spot. I don't think she'll be first boot, and I think she comes off extremely likable in her videos. She's just someone that just seems very down to earth when talking. My only beef with D is that she is 1 class away from getting her college, diploma, and she hasn't taken that class. And it seems like it's worked out for her being an entrepreneur, and that's great. But I'm just like, you got 1 class, just take the class. Having said that, that has nothing to do with Survivor. I think she's just really likable. Empathetic was one of her words. I think she can make a big run here.
Yeah.
I like her.
Praise.
I'm huge on D. I wanted to take D next. something that really like caught my attention in the pregame was that I think she's very socially aware, and I think social awareness is the best tool that you can have in this game. I think that she says something about like it's really important to remember that the way that you make people feel, they remember that. So I think that she's gonna have a lasting impression on people. She talks about being an immigrant, working since she was 14, something that she's gonna have like that mental tenacity that might, other people are gonna be lacking. I think that she's young, she's an entrepreneur. She checks a lot of boxes for me. I think she's gonna do extremely well. So high winner equity there.
Down to earth, I think, is too.
Yeah. So she said that she wanted to work with Bruce and Brandon, both of them not on her tribe, but if she makes the merge with those two as well, those are two people that she'll probably want to connect with, and that could help her get into the other tribes' alliances as well. She said she has not been getting any eye contact from Drew and feels he's an introverted guy that might be hard to read, and she wants allies who are easy to read. So that could be D might be targeting Drew early. That could possibly result in Drew targeting D early. Who knows? So that's something to look out for. That could possibly put D in some trouble if people don't want to get rid of Drew. And she also said she doesn't want to go on the journey. And there's plenty of people on her tribe that want to go on the journey. So she probably won't be going on any journey anytime soon. But she said she wants an advantage or disadvantage. She wants an advantage from the island. She's going to be looking for an advantage on the island because she feels she can hide that better than if she was going on the journey. So I think that's smart. Definitely look for advantages on the island. But I feel like the journey could definitely put a target on your back. And if you lose your vote, votes are very important at the 6-person tribes. So.
Anyone notice how Govind's been very silent? Govind, it sounds like I had a great pick there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna flame you for reason to flame you. I'm not gonna, and then you have the entire group that's like applauding you. I'm not gonna be the 8th person to be like, "Oh my God, Jared, you are the smartest guy alive." Not to become friends. Come on now.
I think she'll do decently well, but I don't think she'll be the first boot. But I do think that she could be a pre-merge elimination if they go multiple times. It's really all about how she can make connections, what alliances she can make. I feel like she might have more trouble making allies than the other people on her tribe, because a lot of people on her tribe seem to be really good people persons. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cool. All right, so we'll keep this train moving here, and we got, was it J West?
Yeah, it's
J
me.
West. Oh no,
Okay.
he's gonna do it to me.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. So, Jared, you scared me really bad at first, and I like a lot of people from Red that's left, but I'm gonna give a lot of the players that like a lot of the people that's on this pod a chance at Red. So I'm not even gonna touch Red. I'm gonna go to the Canadian on the cast, the wild one. And yeah, so I'm gonna go with Caleb. Yeah, I'm gonna go with him. I like him a lot. He's very aware of himself being a big target. I know a lot of people don't like him, but a lot of people that does like him, I feel like has some say. Like Sabaya, I feel like she's gonna take on a leadership role, and a lot of people wouldn't go for her. So whatever, if she says she likes Caleb, then he's in good graces. And she did say she liked him. She said he beats on his own drum. He's a happy dude, and I feel like he want to play the meat shield role like Jeremy, and that's a smart way to play if you know you're a big threat. And it's just hard with him being on his loser tribe. He's obviously the biggest threat. I feel not a loser tribe. I just feel like they're the weakest out of the 3. But I don't know. I like him. I feel like if he makes the merge, he can make other connections. So that's good as well. And the sky's the limit for him because he's on my team and I get to cheer for him. So yeah.
Yeah, I like Caleb. Caleb grew on me a lot. So at first I was kind of just like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. It kind of just came off as like ingenuine, but that was off a 30-second video. And then when I did the deep dive, I was like, oh, this really is who Caleb is. So I don't see a world where he's first boot on this tribe. I think he's lucky that he's on this tribe because I think his personality could certainly rub people the wrong way. I think he can come off probably a little bit arrogant, but I do like his confidence at the same time. I think he knows himself. And you have to you have to play this game like yourself. And I think he's gonna do that. He likes that he wants to play with people that know that this is just a game. And so big movitis could happen.
Yeah.
Who knows? But like I said, this tribe could be decimated. He could be one of the last two standing on it. I could see him going out third. I could see him making it really deep. He's a toss-up for me, but I think he's a good pick, like where we're at right now. So good pick, J West. Thanks for not picking who I want.
Yeah, I probably have the most to say about Caleb. First, before I go into what I have to say about Caleb, I just want to say that I think he is going to be such a fun character and so much fun to watch on our screens. He has a 0% chance of winning this game. 0.00. No way he wins. So many people.
Time out. I know you're about to go off of people being quiet and staring at them, but I think games change. Like all of us, we played together and the rounds change fast in a fast-paced game. So like literally if he has a chance to actually meet people, that silent game that they played in the beginning of the game is going to go out the window. And I feel like if he's a useful player on his tribe, that's going to be useful. And he's social, and that's going to be useful. And he's aligned with someone that might have say. I like.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be an early boot. I think he's practically, unless they lose an absurd amount of challenges, I think he's practically guaranteed merge. I don't think he gets past the first few votes after the merge. The way he was acting in the pregame, he apparently like half the cast in their interviews said that they all think that they're Caleb's number one because of how great eye contact and that they had with him and the smiles and everything. But then they would look around at Caleb and he was doing the exact same thing to everybody else. And they all think that they need to be careful of him because he seems to be someone who's going to play all sides. And I don't think that just because of his personality that people are going to be like, oh no, like he's great, let me align with him. I think he will be doing exactly what he did pregame in the real game. He's going to play all sides, and that's going to work out for him pre-merge, and he loves being a villain, so I think he will be a villain pre-merge. I think he's going to promise everyone the world and back and then vote him out pre-merge, and then he's going to get screwed over at the merge because everyone's going to think he's a big target and that he's playing all sides. But also, here's just some fun things about Caleb. He, in his interview, he had nicknames for pretty much all the guys in the cast, and they were just hilarious, so I just wanted to say them. He called Sifu beefcakes. He called Austin Johnny Tsunami, or the surfer version of Frosty from China. He called Drew Lengthy Blanky. He called Brando Youngblood. He called Sean Hotter Geo from 42 or from 43. Called Bruce Unk, Brandon Wayne's World. And then he also called Jake his Gusband or Island Husband. So he predicted who's going to be on what tribes based on what they look like. And he predicted that Brandon and Jake were going to be on his tribe. So that's who he was trying to send the best signals to. So he really wants to work with Brandon and Jake. I think all three of them are going to make the merge. So I think he's going to have those allies to work with. But even Jake said he was kind of weary of him and thinks that he might be playing all sides. So we'll see how that works out for him. And then he also, for his business, something really funny that he did was he edited a photo of himself by copying his body and pasting it next to his. And he showed the homeowners that he was working for the picture and pretended like that was his twin Jamal instead. And every time that he would do something that either rubbed a homeowner the wrong way or like he was out late at night at their house dropping off equipment or something, he would blame it on Jamal, his twin, which he does not have. I thought that was hilarious. And I think that just shows the kind of manipulation tactics he was going to want to use and the villainous side of him, but also the jokey side of him. So
he's a go-getter. He's an
Yeah.
absolute go-getter. He didn't have any experience painting and ran a paint business. He had the lifeguarding, at 17. I really respect just his, when there's a will, there's a way. I just really like Caleb. I would almost picked him here, Jay West, actually, with the previous pick. I just like that he's a 29-year-old in software sales. I'm 30 in software sales. And I like that he's charismatic and golden retriever. I think when you are a big, you're one of the bigger guys on the show, you need to do ways to kind of lower your threat level. And by him being a golden retriever and really friendly, will play to his advantage. I think he will be a merge boot, just because he's going to be maybe too likable or too threatening for that reason. But I love to pick Jay West. I will be rooting for him, and hopefully he's not too much of a villain.
Right. And I think for me, I like Caleb a lot. And one thing, though, he did say pregame was, he's like a bit of a Cody and a Jesse.
Yeah.
That's like the most threatening player of all time, because like that's like a very great strategic player mixed with probably one of the most likable players of like the new era as far as personality and social charm and wit and all that stuff. So I mean, if he thinks that of himself, he's gonna have to play that down like hardcore if he wants to win.
No.
I think he does well.
I think
the winning is going to be extremely hard, just like it would be for
definitely
Bruce
hard.
for different reasons. I think
100%.
he is very showboaty, which is great for TV, but he is going to have to play that down or he's going to be out. So,
Well said, Pat. Well said.
I think that he probably does think that he is like a Cody Jesse type player, but when he mentioned that, I think he was trying to say that he wanted a Jesse Cody type relationship with Jake, his island husband.
No,
So I think he thinks he's Cody to his Jesse.
No, I think he said that he's like a Cody.
Yes.
Yeah, but he has a Jesse mind.
yeah, he's like I'm Jesse strategically, but socially I'm Cody. So
Right.
because Jesse was much more laid back, much more quiet, Cody was able to make a lot of the social connections, and they were able to just work together and strategically just build off one another. And he wants to be that kind of combined. So we'll see if that works out for Caleb. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to see him on my screen. I know that for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's gonna get some good confessionals.
Yeah.
Time for me to
Yeah.
have someone.
Madison.
Alrighty. I'm gonna draft Austin Lee Kuhn.
Damn.
Yeah, that's great. Yep.
Great
Yo.
pick.
Yeah, that was close. That was
Yeah.
close.
Austin. Why Austin?
Because I know with Govind's strategy, I agree. I've been in drafts where I've had the first boot. Last season I did draft Bruce and he went bye-bye. So I'm just trying to rely on someone who's not going to be first boot, because I'm not trying to lose $20 right off the bat. So he's not going to be targeted early, just purely due to physical strength. Aside from that, when you're like that strong, as far as first boot goes, like the only way that you're going to go first is if you're going to be pissing people off. But he seems really down to earth. He's extremely likable. He's attractive, but he comes like from a background of being ugly, he said, which I can relate to. So like I like this guy. I think he can do very well. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to win. But I have faith, and we've seen players like him make it to the end. So I'm happy with that draft pick. I had him third in my list, so like I'm happy I got it.
Yeah, I'm very shocked that he dropped this far. If I didn't have such like a wait in between picks, I definitely would have tried to snag him. Look, for Austin as well, I was reading confirmed like he was like a straight up alternate, like got the call like you're going, and he was on location, gets to play. So I think he's going to have that fire under his ass. He's a competitor, like a straight up competitor. And he talks about being an extrovert, but being an introvert growing up and being able to live that spectrum. I think if you can, he's going to be able to relate to people. I think just, people that have big personalities. I think he's going to be a calming presence. I think he's someone that's going to be essential for challenges. And I think he's like someone that's a go-getter. He works hard. I think he's going to work hard around camp. I think he's going to play that big social game. And I think he's just super likable. Like, I think that because he compares himself to like a Wu or Ozzy, but like more of a strategist than them. And I think if he can kind of just dabble in all three, whether it's social, strategic, physical, and not be just like, the best at one, I think he has a really good chance to go far. So
one other thing about him, I liked what he said he did to prep. I feel like a lot of people are working out, a lot of people are practicing their puzzles, fire skills, and he did that, but he also practiced like not eating for long periods of time, which I think is like a very valuable thing to like know about yourself, how your body's going to react, how you're just mentally going to react. And I'm just thinking like that also takes some willpower to be able to, he goes to grad school and I think University of Chicago, and he's fasting for 60 hours. I'm like, okay, go off. I want him. So yeah.
Yeah, good pick.
I think it's a lot of what we said about Caleb was saying about like Austin. Just gonna be tough to win, but definitely physical, definitely a calming presence. Of all the contestants, I think he exudes the most social, strategic, and physicality. Really wanted to take him personally, because I think he's really likable, but I just think it's gonna be tough for him to win. But I really hope he wins. And one other quick thing, if you're playing in a draft league where you get points for like immunity challenges and just finding stuff, I think he would absolutely be a surefire first rounder because he's not going to get eliminated first, and he has the social, strategic physicality to make moves, win challenges. So I like the pick a lot. Good value, Madison.
Yeah. I think he's going to be definitely looked at as a strong physical player. But he's hoping that even though he's looked at like that and might be an early boot in the merge, he's hoping that his like social game and just him being a great ally to people and being a fun person to have around camp will hopefully help him, get as far into the game as he possibly can and hopefully get to the end. I don't know how well it'll work out, but I have seen really physical players who normally would be out like first or second at the merge make it to like 7 or 6 or something, and then if he does, maybe he can have an immunity run and make something happen. Who knows? So I don't think it's a terrible pick. I don't think it's a great pick because he's a really good physical competitor, but definitely has a lot of upside for someone who would be expected to be a merge boot.
This is also pick number 11. I mean, it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, he also really wants to he's one of the 2 people other than Sifu who wants to go on the journey. So if they're offered the journey, he said that he would be willing to go because he wants to have an advantage that will help him at the merge. Because he doesn't think, even if he goes, he doesn't think he'll be targeted because of what he looks like and how he will be able to help in the challenges. So he was like, it's like a freebie, being able to go. But if he doesn't go, he'd prefer someone who is a close ally of him go, so that he'll know what happened on the journey and he'll get the full truth from his closest ally. I do see Sifu and Austin possibly working together. And if Sifu is someone who wants to volunteer, Austin might make sure that Sifu goes, and then Sifu will tell Austin. They'll be able to talk about the advantage or disadvantage that they got. So I think that's going to work out well for him.
Yeah. All right. So finally back to my turn, which feels like 4 days ago at this point that I picked Jake O'Kane number 1 overall. We'll see how that ages. I've come to, I'm happy with Jake O'Kane, right? But everyone else that I really, really wanted is gone. Absolutely gone. So we're getting, into the thick of it here. I think I know where I want to go. I've got 2 back-to-back picks. Fuck it. I'm going Drew. I'm taking Drew. And this is why. This is why. Okay.
I'm pissed.
Philly guy. All right. So automatic points. Not only that, I see a world where him and Austin are like thick as thieves, because I think like yin and yang. I think like if Austin is like, they're around the same age, I think Austin is like the bro-y type, can be like, good at the challenges, and then Drew could pick up maybe where Austin lacks, vice versa. I think they work well together. I think there's no world where Drew goes first because I like what he says about playing his strengths. He doesn't want to hide who he is. And I think I go back to the biggest thing of Survivor. Like, you have to play like who you are. The hardest thing out there is to really just downplay the biggest things about yourself. He wants people to know that he's smart. He said in the 3-minute video that we saw that he knows that he's factually one of the most smart people to play Survivor. So we'll see if that comes to bite him in the ass, but I'm big on Drew. I think there's a world where he's like comedic relief. I think that he's gonna be like have like a dry sense of humor. I could see him, being socially. You wanted him?
Yes.
Yeah. So I had to go with Drew. I was torn between him and someone else, but I think Drew's gonna pan out well. I'm big on Drew. So what do you guys think?
I am the opposite. I do not think Drew is going to do well. I think he's going to be the first boot of the Red Tribe. I think the girls are going to come together, and I think a lot of people are not going to vibe with him necessarily. Rather, I feel like I'm always rooting for the nerds on the seasons, and I would love to see him do well, but just from the interviews I watched and the way other people were perceiving him and just his strategy going into it, I don't know. I feel like he's going to be someone who can easily be targeted. He does want to work with Austin, he says, because he wants to work with someone who is physically strong when he's not. So if Austin also wants to work with him, that could work out well. But I do think that with Austin and Sifu wanting to go on this journey, if they lose their vote, the girls can take over the game, and they're not going to get rid of Sifu or Austin. So Drew is going to be the target. I really think that unless they get an advantage and don't lose their vote, the guys are in trouble on that tribe. He does say he wants to play a very loyal game. A big family value for him and his family is loyalty. So he wants to play a very loyal game. If he says he's going to be in alliance with you, he truly means that. So I think that could help him in the game. But I do think that he probably should kind of shy away from his what people perceive him as. Like, he's going to be like being like, yeah, I am smart. Like, yeah, I am. And people are going to be like thinking, oh, he's strategic. Then he's going to be always plotting or be very analytical.
Well, my thing with that, Steve, is I think like in this new era, especially, everyone is smart. Everyone is strategic. Everybody has. I just think he just falls into an archetype rather than like a false perception. Like, he just wants to own his archetype in a sense, because if he can turn it around and show him why he could be necessary, why he could be needed, then I think he's in good shape. And I think if he tries to steer away from the version of himself that he truly is, I think that's where he'll find himself in some trouble. So I think his initial strategy is suited well for him to make a decent run. Can Drew win? I don't know. Possibly. He could, but I have him closer to winning than being first boot, but that's just me.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I think he's going to need a lot of stars to align for him not to be an early boot. I really do.
I just think we talked about how Red is going to do very well. Well, what's the one thing you need to do really well? Puzzle guy. He's the puzzle guy, the de facto puzzle guy. I don't see anyone else coming close to puzzles on Red. And I think that him playing into his archetype is going to be extremely effective because he's going to be authentic. And for my money, I think he makes for a great dark horse, because when he makes it to merge, which he will, I will put $20 that he makes merge with anyone here, because
I wanted to.
Govind thinks I'm losing a lot of money. So we might as well.
$20, Jared.
He just wanted
$20.
Okay, Jared, I will also take you up on that 20. So if you're down to put 20 on each individual bet there with both Steven and I individually.
I will do 10 with
10.
I will do
I'll
10
do
with
10.
all of you. So Jay West said 10. Steven said
No, Jay West didn't say anything.
All right, Jay West said no. Okay, so I'll do 10 and 10 with Lupo
But
and
Govind
Govind.
and I, $10 each.
And you better hope.
Bad. Like,
Guys
every
are
person
right.
who's like slightly my own archetype, I'm like preying on their downfall. Like, I feel so bad about that.
That was me.
I'm like the
that was why I had
opposite.
Kelly so freaking low. I was like, I want her to be first boot. If it can't be me, no success.
But
I think
Drew could do well on other tribes, but like I don't know, on this tribe with Austin and Sifu wanting to risk their vote at the first journey if they go on a journey, and J Maya wanting to work with the girls, and the other girls seem to be girls who want to work with girls, I think he's gone.
And Dee said in the pre-interview as well that she didn't get a real good connection with him based off of not locking eyes, and he looked at
Exactly.
someone else and he didn't make any connection. So
I just think
Exactly.
they're gonna do
I
well.
think he's targeted if he's not willing to open up to people.
I think they're gonna do well as a tribe. He's the puzzle guy. They're gonna eat, and for that reason, he's gonna coast through the early game. And then once
J Maya is a puzzle person.
he's not a threat.
You don't think
He's
J
not a
Maya
threat
would
to learn.
volunteer as a puzzle?
What's that?
You don't think J Maya would volunteer to do a puzzle as well?
J Maya could. J Maya could.
Well,
but
she went to Harvard Law School. I think J Maya and Drew will be the puzzle people.
I don't think law school like a Ivy League law school
It just
necessarily
means
means you're going to kill
that's-
survivor challenges.
I feel like she's smart. I mean, it's
Well,
just
yeah,
smart.
she's definitely smart. I feel like a lot of this cast is smart, but that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean that she's going to be like.
She's also the smallest one, so I feel like putting her on the puzzle might be a good idea if it's like a strength, like first part of the challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what is that?
And also Drew says that he wants to search for advantages, but he doesn't want to go on the journey. And he feels like having these advantages will give him a lot of power in the game. He mentions how he is looking forward to the inheritance advantage possibly being back in the game. He saw it last season, and so he would love to have that because that'll have a lot of power. So I'm excited to see if that even comes into play this season.
Word up. So with that, we got 2 rounds down. We got 1 more to go. I know Govind had something he wanted to say. So when we get back, we're going to finish this draft. So thanks for sticking around, and we're going to finish it for y'all. See you soon. If you made it this far in the podcast, 1, thank you. 2, let us know who you drafted. If you're in a Survivor Fantasy League, let us know who's on your team. And let us know as well. Are you Team Pat, Team Steven, Team Madison, Team Govind, Team J West, Team Jared, right? Who are you rooting for to win this season of Survivor 45? It's going to be great, and we're going to get back to it. We are back to our Tribal Alliance Survivor 45 draft. Let's just catch everybody up. Joined by my friend here, Jeremy, wearing his Heroes buff from Survivor All-Stars competitive events. We don't know how he did. You got to go back and watch the feeds. Anyway, I have Jake O'Kane and Drew. Madison has Sabaya and Austin. Jay West, Caleb and Kelly. Jared, Brando and Dee. Govind has Sifu and Bruce. Steven has Brandon and J Maya. So we each have 1 pick left. We're going back in the original order, 1 through 6. I have the first pick. With my last pick, I'm going to keep it Blue Tribe, and I'm going to take Katura Tops with my 3rd and last pick. I really like Katura. I'm shocked she's still here. Civil rights lawyer. She's a queer Black woman. She talks about how her hardships in life are going to prepare her to win Survivor. She says that she's always playing Survivor and that she wants to lie about her age. The lying about the age, I don't really think is a huge deal for Katura here. She wants to lie about being like 29 instead of her actual age, which is like 34. I don't really think that's like a big difference here, but what I do like is that she's on the same tribe as Jake O'Kane, because I do think that maybe they can link up and talk about some lawyer stuff, because that would go way above me. I don't know anything about lawyer stuff. So if you're a lawyer or you're an attorney and you work in like law and there's someone else on your tribe that works in law, although I don't know, someone correct me if I'm wrong, does she plan on talking about her profession? I forget if that's...
I don't think any of them said they wanted to expose that they were lawyers. I think all of them said they wanted to keep it under wraps.
Right. Well, if that comes out, I think she's got an ally in Jake that's possible. I just think that she's a strong woman. I think that she'll do really well, and I want her on my tribe, and I'm glad that she's here. Jeremy, we good with that pick. He's good with that pick. So we're rocking and rolling. So I got Katsura, I got Jake, and I got Drew, and that rallies my team, and I'm convinced that I do not carry the first boot. Do I carry the winner? I'm not sure, but I think it's possible.
There you go. Yeah, I remember Jake said that he wanted to say that he was a public defender.
Right.
Rather than what he actually is, but
It was too close.
I don't remember what the others said if they were going to lie about what they were. But yeah, I think Katura, out of the people left, that's I think the best pick. And I think she'll do really well. I think she has a good strategy going into the game. I think she's on a tribe where I don't think she would be necessarily one of the earlier boots, and she's got a strong tribe with her. So I think that'll carry her to the merge, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, I feel really good about this pick. I'm happy with my team. Govind, I actually do want to know. I want like a team analysis from you specifically because I think you'll be the most brutally honest. So where are we at with my picks? What do you think?
You really came to me the moment I put in more food into my mouth. I love that.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
very strategic of me.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty on board with all your picks. I don't think there's anything here that's like jumping out to me as like a first boot. And I personally think that you reached on Jake, but I do still really like Jake as a person and as a player. I think he's going to be able to connect with a lot of people that if he's able to like really ingratiate himself well, I could easily see him like doing well in a final tribal. So I think you have a lot of winner equity and not that much first boot equity, which is like where you want to be.
I gotta ask.
Yes.
So, but Govind, Brando got a lot of shit, but Drew didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of
So
forgot.
I'll put my money out there that Drew goes further than Brando.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah, you have Drew. I fully was just looking at your team as if Jake and the person you just picked and entirely looked over Drew in that assessment. I think Drew's a really rough pick. I fully stand with Jared again. I sorry, the food was getting to me. That's an entirely
Damn it. Close enough.
I'm concerned about throwing more money on Drew, but I think it is like so clear that
I'm down for a Drew bet. I'm down for a Drew bet.
I think
no. Here's my Drew. Here's my
God.
my new Drew prediction. Drew will go further than Jake. Get on the Drew train, Pat.
Whoa.
What did you
Further
think?
than Jake.
Calm
Okay.
down. Calm down.
I'll take that.
I'm
I'll
in.
take that. I'm in.
Okay. I will we're throwing a lot of money on Drew.
Jacob,
No. How about this?
Katie
How about this?
screams Final Tribal Council. Like I just have this gut feeling. That's why I took him first. I don't know if he'll be a 0-vote finalist. I don't know if he'll win by a sweep, but I have this this feeling Jacob Kane will be at Final Tribal Council.
I'll do this with the Drew over Jake. I don't want a money bet. I want you send me a personalized video saying I was right and you were wrong. That's what I would want. So if
I'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
How about this, Jared? If you are correct, we will buy you drinks twice for 2 nights. If you are correct, you buy everyone on this call drinks for 1 night.
Easy. That is a great
We're
bet.
in.
Down.
Awesome.
He's the guy. He's the guy that.
I like that one.
Yeah, I like that.
We're gonna
But the thing is, I agree with you. I love Drew, so I'm on the same side. It might be double rounds. I love Drew, yo, and I'm pissed.
Yeah, you're just sick about that.
Right, yeah.
No, we got to keep
my
this
last
show.
guy.
I know we got to keep this show rolling, but one thing I'm concerned about Katura is she's colorblind, and there's a lot of colors on Survivor, so I'm just
Listen, I'll tell you right now, it can be done. It can be done. Is it the
You can't
easiest
smell.
thing in the world? Do
So-
people use that as a reason to target you randomly sometimes? Do you go home really early? Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, it can be done, okay? And those are bright colors. Those are bright colors.
That's right.
Everyone can see red.
And you gotta have I would hope that CBS would accommodate said disability.
We would always hope, but it never happens.
You would hope that she would have a fair shot, just like everyone else that has better vision or has the ability to see color. But we'll see how that shakes out. But let's keep this moving along. We got Madison up next. Madison, with your last pick, let's see how you round out your team.
Alrighty, my last pick is going to be Hannah Rose. All right.
Great pick.
Thank you. She was actually pretty high in my rankings. I'm very pleased that she made it this late. And the reasons that I liked her was everything in her preseason interviews. I was right there with her. I was agreeing with her. I thought she had very good reads on the cast. I think she had some things to say about Drew. She had some things to say about Caleb. And I think those were opinions that were shared by at least a couple other people. So I think she's going to mesh well with a lot of the people on the cast. And most importantly, and I think Jared hit on this earlier, she said one of her words was empathetic, and that she understands that not everything revolves around her, which is fantastic. This is something that's crucial in Survivor. And she said that she was keeping track of like, oh, did some people go to get seconds before some people got first in their like meals pre-game? Like that's something I would be paying attention to. So I just, is it the most flashy pick in the world? No. But like I like Hannah, and I want her to do well, and I'm very happy that she's on my draft team.
Yeah, it turns out I lied about Katura being the best one out of the people left. I forgot Hannah was still available. I'm kind of shocked she went this low. She was who I was deciding between, her or J Maya. I think Hannah has a very high chance of winning this game. She wants to play. She doesn't want to play afraid. She's going to do what she has to do in the game. She wants to be strategic. Wants to play under the radar, which I think she'll be able to do very well. She compares herself to Aubrey, Wentworth, and Amber from All Stars. And I totally see the comparisons with her. I think she'll play similar games to them. And I also know that she is, I believe she's a therapist, but she doesn't plan on like necessarily like being like a therapist in the game. She just thinks that that'll help her connect with people, and she'll be able to hear people out. She wants to listen more than speak, and she says that that's not her whole personality. That's just part of her personality. That's just something she does for a living, but that's not her. And I think she'll be able to be herself and be under the radar and be someone who can make it very far and still be looked at by the jury as a strong strategic threat.
I wanted to have a conversation starter about this because I thought it was very astute when she said that the last two therapists to play Survivor, one of them being Ellie in 43, who was one of my high draft picks back then, didn't do well. And it made me think that I want to open this up to the group. Is therapist a job where you have to lie about or even not reveal? Like,
I don't think so. I think especially in the modern age of Survivor, I think everyone that gets on the show has the ability to be empathetic, or maybe that's being naive, but I think being a therapist is a lot more approachable than say like an attorney or even like anything in the medical field.
Yeah. Pat, what were you saying?
I just think because I'm not a therapist, but I'm a case manager, and when you're a case manager, you do a lot of counseling. And I know if I was playing Survivor, I would want to highlight that in a way that is going to help me build relationships. But, because I don't think it's something you have to necessarily hide. I don't think you want to broadcast to everybody every in and outs of what you do. Like you have to deal with a lot of pressure. You have to deal with a lot of like behaviors. You have to deal with a lot of different things. So I think if you can use it as a way to let people in, be emotional support for your tribe, I think that's a good idea, but I don't necessarily think it's the best idea to just act like you're not that person, because ultimately, when you are a case manager or a therapist or a teacher, educator, you do it because you love it. You do it because that's your kind of personality. You obviously don't do it for the money and stuff like that. So I think that it's hard to downplay that type of career to where when you're an attorney, you're a lawyer, you're used to kind of bullshitting like that. With a job like this, with therapists, we're not bullshitting. We're here to uncover the truth and to uncover, how we can go about, different situations and uncover ourselves even more. So I think it's a different route depending on what your career is.
I think it's a person. I feel like if it's someone who can be able to lie about their job easily and has stories to back up their fake job that they say, I think they should. I think they should choose a job very similar to being a therapist, but not something where, it's like, oh, like she's going to be very observant, like she's going to like be judgy, like she's going to know people's tics and stuff like that. I feel like that's something that people might look into being a therapist. Like, if she like was to say a job similar to therapy where she's like communicating with people really well, but not necessarily something where people would look at, oh, like she's analyzing us. I think that might be a better route.
Yeah, I think to your point, it depends on the person. I just think with Ellie, it came off a little arrogant, a little bit like, I know people, I'm going to be really good. And I think there's a level of down to earthness as well. Going back to your point, Madison, there's that empathy, authenticity going on with Hannah, which was why I think it's going to be a great pick. And I don't think therapist is up there with, say, like a salesperson, an attorney, where you have to like downplay those professions. It's a great pick, Madison.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I appreciate that.
Another good
If at all possible, could I please have a Govind analysis of my draft picks, please?
It's essential.
It's
Great
essential.
pick. On to the next.
Great pick. On to the next. Nice.
See that?
That leads
Yeah.
to J West, where I think a Govind analysis is extra essential after
Wow.
J West is done, because J West is always going to do something good. So,
Yep.
where's this pick? I know where
Okay.
it's going. I know where it's at.
Yeah, he knows where it's going because we're in the same crib, and I wanted to be empathetic and care about someone from each tribe. So that was my strategy going into it, picking someone from each tribe. I did say I wanted the girl to win. The last tribe I didn't go to was red. I gave you guys all the red people I'm pissed about, but now I'm actually happy to pick the last red person. Julie.
That's it.
Julie, yeah, I'll take her.
Julie.
She's been wanting to play for a while. She's finally got her name in. I think she's a big fan of Sandra. She said she's gonna take that approach in the beginning, and she want to connect with the girls. Like, all the girls want to play with the girls. So she said in the pregame, the girls wouldn't give her any eye to eye. But I think in the early, like in this atmosphere, when you get cast and you get this like experience, you really want to listen to the rules too. Certain players are like, yo, I don't want to get in trouble, and there's certain players like, look, I want to stand out, I want to do this. But she's a lot older. She's like probably like Bruce, so I'm cheering for her. Hopefully she isn't the first boot, but I can see that her being the first boot on that tribe over Drew. I love Drew, but I'm willing to bet the person who has Drew that she might go further, just to throw some money out there now, because like I that's it. That's my pick.
Yeah, and this is what I like about Julie. I do like the Julie pick. Julie, there's something about someone who, lives a part of their life and then decides to do something for them, and she wanted to go back to school. This is her second chance. Reminds me of like my girlfriend's mom. Like, my girlfriend's mom like decided to go back to school, become a nurse, and she's so much like happier and fulfilled with what she does, and treats it like a journey. And I think if Julie just goes in there with, being authentic, treats it like a journey for what it is, and, is able to build some good social connections, I don't think she's like an easy target, as, it may appear sometimes, being like that older women archetype. Women have been going early in the new era, which stinks. Hopefully, I think that the women in this cast are also just super strong. So hopefully, Stephen was talking about the women on red maybe banding together. I could see a world where that happens as well. Jemiah and Dee are both like pretty young. They can look at Julie as like mom, the two daughters. I could see that kind of thing happening already. So Julie, great pick. Don't see a world where she is absolutely first. I mean, I do, but with this cast, I don't see it. So good pick. Julie, go Julie.
Yeah, I also love the Julie pick. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I think Julie's going to make it very far in the game. Don't really see how she can win the game just because of
attorney.
but I do see her possibly being in the final tribal council. She's a 49-year-old mom. She's going to be like a mom to everyone on the tribe. At 40, she went to law school. She passed the bar on her first try, became a attorney at 44. That's pretty awesome. She's a hard worker. She plans to work hard at the camp so that she doesn't. So she's not someone that people want to vote off right away, which I think a lot of people on her tribe are going to see that. J West did make a good point about how she said a lot of the girls weren't really giving her good eye contact. and she was she was pretty much like in an excited voice was like, come on, like just give me something, because I feel like she does want to work with the girls, and I think they were just going by the rules, and I don't think they actually didn't like Julie. So I do think that she's going to be able to work well with the women on that tribe. She says one of her strengths is the willingness to adapt. She's very adaptable. She's a very loyal player, which I think a lot of people are going to see her as a loyal player. They usually do, the older people in the cast. It's either you're not strong, let's get you out, or it's you're going to be someone who's super loyal and honest, let's keep you around. And I think that's kind of where the people on that tribe are going to go with her, want to keep her around because she's loyal. She also said she values strong players on the tribe, so she's going to want to keep the strong players around, and she wants to, align with them so that they want to keep her around. And she doesn't want to go on any journey or get any advantage that could make her lose her vote, because nobody's going to want to go after the strong people. So there's only a few options of the weaker people in the tribe to go home. And so she wants to make sure she has her vote so that she doesn't, not having her vote could possibly make her an easy target.
Seems like a likable lawyer. She's the third attorney.
Yeah.
And, just one quick anecdote. She mentions that her mom gave her confidence to be a lawyer. And I in my personal life, my mom has really helped me get confidence in my job. So I just really like that from a personal standpoint. I think she's very likable. And if she is not an early boot, I think she could absolutely go far in this game. Kind of looking at the red tribe, going to be interested to see who's going to be like that leader of that tribe. I don't,
I think she could take reins and they could blame her and that could mess her up. But, honestly, it's a lot of young players, physical players, loyal players. They all say, like, I'm loving a red tribe. Like,
and I feel like I could see like Austin and Julie. Like I could see that kind of happening, like a Malcolm and Denise type thing. I don't know. I could see
Austin's island mom.
Yeah, like in a sense, like I just feel like Austin's just like very calm. I feel like he's just very chill, very cool, and I feel like he'll like take the time to get to know people. I think he'll take the time to really just do what he does best, which he says is just like getting to know people, being social. So I could see a world where him and Julie and like Drew maybe. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. I also just want to say one thing about the red tribe since we're on it. Austin was saying how he wouldn't be opposed to a showmance. He doesn't want one, but he wouldn't be opposed because he just broke up with his girlfriend beforehand or something, so that it's an option. I don't know. But D and him maybe, who knows? Because D said she wanted to work with Austin, so
I could see it.
Possible showmance. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited for this red tribe. I'm big on it. Let's send it on over to Jared. And wait, Govind.
Real quick, this positivity train is wonderful. I really appreciate the way that we are providing such astute commentary at the 11th hour. However, there's a reason that these people are going so late in the draft, and I think I would like to highlight the fact that everyone does not have as much win equity as we say after.
I said that. Julie, I don't see Julie having any chance of winning, but I think Julie might make it to the end.
That's wonderful. I disagree with that even. I would go so far to say that this person is about 2 decades older than the rest of her tribe. She also, the one thing that stood out to me, this is not in relation to Julie, is the fact that like she has also passed the bar. It seems like everybody on this cast has passed the bar.
It's another lawyer.
The bar. Like at this point, I feel like I could pass the bar.
You probably could, Govind.
You watch Suits, you might be able to.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short, I think that she's prime first boot material. I think that she's going to have a lot of difficulty relating with her group. And I think that's going to be the case with every single pick left to be had as well.
Yeah. Julie's going to be either the first or second boot on her tribe, or she's going to make it to like Final Four. That's my prediction. She's got a very low floor, very high ceiling in terms of placement, but I don't think she can win.
I think more so than the age, the fact age to me is like completely overrated. We just saw what happened with Gabler in 43. I think the fact that she is from Tennessee and there's really no one like Southern, like also on her tribe. I don't know. I think I'm looking too much into that as well. I think, but I'm more concerned with that than like the age. Just to your point though, Govind, making it difficult to relate to.
No, that's totally fair. And I do want to highlight though that I do think that older women have a harder time on Survivor than older men.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
I think Gabler did have an uphill battle, but I think the battle is even harder on her end. But back to you, Jared. Sorry.
No, good point. No, I wanted back to you on the Jay West's analysis. So, Jay West, remind Govind of your tribe again, so he can give it shit or praise.
I have Kelly as my first pick. I have Caleb as my second pick, and now I have Julie as my last.
Okay. Who was your first pick again? Can you say that one more time for me?
Kelly.
I think it'll be really interesting to watch the people on Jay West's group. I fucking love Caleb. I think that Caleb could be very boom or bust though by that same token.
Yeah.
And I've already shared my thoughts on the Kelly pick.
Nice. Oh, well, we'll send it back to Jared. Jared with his last pick. Let's see what we got. We have how many people left on the board, right? So we got
Emily Flippin, we got Sean, and we got Kendra.
Okay, so we got 2 yellows and a blue. Okay.
Yeah. I do want to go back to the well, and a lot of people loved my D pick. Got a lot of praise, so much praise that Govind didn't even want to give me more praise after the D pick. So I want to go back to Pat and Madison. If D and this pick would be on the table for your 2 picks that just happened. I'm throwing that out there as a trade offer.
So wait, so are you asking me if I would what?
Like you just picked Katura and Drew. And I would do D and this pick for those 2.
Oh, an in-draft trade. Okay.
In-draft trade. And Madison, same offer to you. You had Austin and Hannah. Now this pick to you.
Oh,
Jared's reaching for
You going for
what is
2 people?
I'm doing it even, like a 2 for 2, just
Okay.
so everyone has 3 players.
I'm gonna pass. I'm happy with my team. I picked them. We're good. There's no one left on the board that I would really want. I would prefer to keep where I'm at. Good offer though. Good try. Nice effort. Appreciate it.
There's a crack somewhere.
Yeah, it's Jared is just frozen.
I think he's frozen.
He's frozen.
So we got Jared left to pick. When he unfreezes, that would be great.
Oh, there you go. Okay. For a second, I thought he was just like not blinking, but he.
No, horrible time for my internet to be unstable. Madison, did you accept or decline?
It's a very soft decline, but I appreciate the effort.
Damn.
And yeah.
I was really hoping you'd say yes because I love Hannah and I really love Austin. So, okay, my pick. I got to pick someone. The 4 people that were left, Julie, Kendra, Sean, and Emily, were my bottom 4, and Julie was ahead of the other 3. These are like my bottom 3, like handily.
Yeah, same.
And I'm gonna be taking the decay that Jay West did today. I'm gonna take Kendra just surely for the fact that I really don't like the other 2, and that I don't think Blue Tribe is losing first tribal. So at least I won't have, hopefully, this is all about for me, like not getting the extra 20. The first time I'm taking.
Is it now? Is it now?
So it's the first time I'm taking the Govind strategy because these 3 players that are left, in my opinion, have a shot. I'm very disappointed in this pick. Kendra literally said in her interview, thinks her social game will be so good. That is the classic Survivor foreshadowing, just for that person to come crashing down. There is a tremendous amount of risk with this pick. My saving grace is that A, she looks for loyalty, and then B, she perceives herself to be a Carolyn 2.0, and we saw just how well Carolyn did from season 44. That is my saving grace, but I am very... Oh, one other quick thing, and then I'll stop talking. Her pet peeve is like people asking her for the meaning of her tattoos. Like that is like the number 1 conversation starter when you see someone that has tattoos. If you don't like that question, why are you tatted?
Yeah. Well, I think with Kendra, I had Kendra as 18, out of 18. I am not high on Kendra. I actually do think if Blue loses first, she's gone. I think she's just gonna rub people the wrong way immediately. I think there's something about a personality that is just like so in your face. That I feel like she's just 100% at all times, and that's not fair to me to say because I don't know her. She could be great. I'm just going off of what I have so far, which is very little content. But I don't see a world where she wins. I think she leans towards the scale of first boot than winner equity. But you know, with the three that you had left, they were actually my bottom three as well. So this is actually crazy. But yeah, I think I don't know how she's gonna do. So
Yeah, I don't have
Big
too much to
question
say
mark
for
for
Kendra either. Kendra was my 18 as well. She doesn't seem like she's going to get along with a lot of people in this cast. There have been multiple people, I think maybe two or three, who mentioned in the pregame that she seems like someone who they wouldn't get along with. Like, granted, none of them are on her tribe, but just the fact that people were thinking like, oh, she just seems like someone I wouldn't get along with. That's just not a good sign. And even with her answers, she doesn't seem like she's going to be someone who's going to do well, especially when so many people on the Blue Tribe gave such great answers, seem like they're going to be strategic players, social players, get along with people easily. That kind of puts her on the outs automatically. I don't really see a world in which she makes it to the merge.
yeah.
I would be shocked if she's not even the first boot from her tribe.
I actually like her more than the other two remaining players on the board, primarily for the reason that you outlined yourself, Jared. I think that blue is more likely to win the first challenge than yellow. So by virtue of that, I think you have higher likelihood of her making it farther just based off that. I think she'll have difficulty in a swap or a merge, but I think any of these people left on the board would as well.
I agree with Govind.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
So we're kind of split. We're torn here. Might have to go to rocks for Kendra here. Who knows? But we got 2 picks left. Ultimately, Govind's going to make his last pick, but with doing that, he will also be making Steven's last pick, which is just poetically fun. I like that Govind gets to make Steven's last pick be whatever it's going to be, which is cool. So we're going to get all to that. We got one last commercial for you. We'll be back. We're going to finish this thing up, and we appreciate it. So let's keep it rolling. If you are loving what you're hearing and you think that you want to talk to Steven and I, shoot us a message. We'd love to either relay questions for you on the podcast or even have you on. We want to talk to as many people in the community as possible. We're going to be doing a lot of these. The more Survivor we get, the more podcasts you are going to hear from Steven and I. We're trying currently to get some alumni. We're trying to get some co-hosts. And it's going to be really good. We're going to do a full tilt boogie with this, as Jeff would say. We're going balls to the wall with this podcast. We appreciate you listening. Make sure that you follow, make sure that you subscribe, and let's finish this podcast. And we're back. Tribal Lines podcast. Going to finish up this podcast. We got 2 picks left, but like I said, Govind's going to, he's going to pick. And not only that, he's going to make a choice for Steven. So Govind, I'm going to throw the ball in your court.
So this is likely not what was expected of me to do here. But I've tried to approach this this entire experience with a lot of strategy. And I know for a fact that what is going to happen here is I'm going to pick the grenade piece, and then everyone's going to be like, your strategy was shit. You 100% know nothing. As a result of that, I don't want this final pick to be on my hands. Instead,
Oh no.
I am going to ask Steven if you'd be so kind. Also, just acknowledging the fact that you have much more information than I do. I don't want to be choosing your fate. I feel like you have the right reason to choose your own fate. So if you want to tell me who you want to have, I'll give that person to you. And happy to do it.
I kind of was like between these two people. I kind of wanted you to pick.
Really interesting. Okay.
Let me think. Do I want one or the other? You know what? The Brant Steel gods made you the 5th pick and not me. So I'm gonna let you decide my fate.
No,
I picked for 2 of you.
No, like legitimately, please take it. I don't want.
I'll pick for them.
I'll pick for them.
I'll pick for them.
Should we have a vote?
I
Okay.
said Govind.
I do have a preference here. So basically, what was going to happen here is I'd already talked with the commissioner ahead of time that I was going to pretend that I was trading with Steven. He was then going to tell me exactly who he wanted, and then I was going to pick that person.
I've
That did
seen
not
it
end
on.
up happening.
I've seen it before
I
happen.
wanted it to happen so bad.
I've seen it
The
before.
fact that he did not take the bait is extremely underwhelming. With that being said, I'll be taking Sean with my final selection.
Bill.
I knew it.
Good selection.
Yes.
For
Madison, did you want?
So
that?
if I did say who I wanted, I would have said I wanted Sean, so you would have chosen Sean anyway. So
Gotcha.
it worked out.
Madison, would you have said that? Would you have picked Sean?
I would have. I would have. Yeah.
Me and Pat didn't think.
I have this
I
last
said Sean.
person in spot 18, and I have in-depth notes over everyone, but for this one, bless her heart, I just said nope.
I would have picked Emily before Sean. I just find Sean to be completely full of himself, and I hope I'm wrong because that's very mean for me to say. But
I think Sean has like
Yeah,
high,
actually,
he has like high upside, like high the player from 42. I feel like I could see Sean doing pretty well, but at the same time, I agree with the arrogance a bit. He's very like showy and
Or Gio.
I don't know if that's him or not, like as a person, where he's just very like animated to where it's like I'm making my Survivor audition video. I don't know if that's him as a person or if it's like showboaty or not. I just hope that he plays authentically like who he is as a person. He says that he found himself through, his journey of becoming, cool with himself with being a gay man in a very conservative household. So for him to go through a lot of those things, a lot of people on Survivor have similar stories, have done well. I think Sean's kind of up in the air with these last couple picks as well. Could kind of go either way, but yeah.
Like Caleb said, he's hotter Gio, and I think the way Gio played was terrible, and I think he'll play similar. I don't know if he'll necessarily play bad, but I don't think he's going to connect with a decent amount of his tribe mates. I feel like I'd be shocked if Hannah, Sabaya, Caleb, and Brandon don't work together as a 4. I feel like the last 2 people that the 2 that Govind and I got are going to be the first 2 voted out. It all depends on who might be the grenade. Usually it's the girl who goes home over the guy if it's going to be someone who's the weaker player, who like if they lose the first one of the season. But who knows, because I did just remember that Caleb said that Sean was the weakest guy out of all of the guys, and Sean's on his tribe. So I wouldn't be shocked if maybe Emily somehow has a little bit of better social connections right off the bat, and then Caleb might be like, let's go Sean first. But I think the only way he'll do that is if he feels confident in his alliance with the girls and he doesn't think the girls will turn on him and Brandon. If he believes in, like, if they have like a 4-person core that I think they're going to have, and he trusts all of them to stick together and vote Emily out the next time, then I think Sean will be first. If not, I think Caleb will push for Emily. But yeah, Govind and I, probably one of us have the grenade. That's what I'm guessing. If Yellow loses, which I think they might lose the push challenge.
Okay, like my fault. We broke down red. Let's analyze yellow. I think yellow. I think yellow. Let's just say they do a girls thing. We all been pitching that narrative. The girls, right? So they're gonna do a girls alliance. Caleb likes Sabaya, so that's that web. And Hannah likes Brandon. That's that web. And Emily, she's a girl and she's useful. I think she's a puzzle person over Sean. So Sean would have to go first. That's a bad pick, Govind.
I'm with you completely on that, J West. And I was just thinking in my head, who is doing puzzle on this tribe?
Emily. She's smart. I think she's very aware of that as well. And I think who else? She was the Pokemon girl or the game girl, right? Everyone was saying she was playing the DS. So yeah, like she got a target on her back for that. she gotta do some hero shit. Do the puzzle.
Yeah, there's some things good things that I could say about Emily, and she's on my team, so I gotta boost her up a little bit. She says that a lot of people make decisions based on their emotions. Certain rounds when it could be beneficial to their game to go against their emotions. She plans on setting aside her emotions and focusing on the strategic moves rather than emotional moves. I think that's promising. If she can get past not being one of the first one out and actually make alliances early on, then I think her strategy will be really good in the game. She has a job long-term investing, so she seems like she's someone who might want to stick with their allies long-term and and not be a flipper. Flippin won't be a flipper. Is what I think.
Great segue, by the way, to thank you to the viewers for their long time investing in this episode.
Yes. Thank you for your long-term investment into this episode.
Yes.
I wanted to say the one thing that she said was she lacks a lot of traditional qualities that make a good Survivor player. And that to me made her 18 out of 18. And that's all I'll have to say on that.
Yeah, she did say a lot of things about, like, when she talked about her pre-game assessments. The only people she talked about were people that are on her tribe, so that's definitely interesting. She said she wants to work with Brandon. She said she doesn't want to work with Caleb. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe Caleb and Emily might clash. I think she said that Hannah is reading the same books from her favorite author. So I think that'll bond Hannah and Emily. Sabaya is wearing Crocs, and Emily loves that she's wearing Crocs. Thinks that's that's really cool. So she might want to work with Sabaya and have something to talk about with that. But some bad things about her is she thinks her personality is similar to Chaos Cass. She says she's direct, honest, intense, and aggressive. And she said that's what's going to help her in Survivor. I don't really know how those traits would help in Survivor, being aggressive and intense. She thinks that people are perceiving her as intense, aggressive, and uptight. That's not a good perception to have. She says she's a terrible liar. So that one good thing is that she's going to be an honest player, and maybe people will look at her as a good ally because she won't lie. But you also need someone who can lie. If someone like at the merge is saying hey, who are you voting out, and then she just tells them or lies really badly, then they know that her alliance is voting her out. So then that's not a good ally to have. Her pet peeves are nearly everything, she says. If it's something that annoys someone, it's probably a pet peeve of mine. That's what she said. So a lot of bad things. That's the reason why she's number 17 on my list.
So we rattle off all these things, right? And I can't help but think of the world where Emily does significantly well. I think there's a world as well where her and Brandon can get really tight as well. I think Brandon, Sabaya, Emily, and we gotta also remember, like, when they're like just staring each other down, hanging in Fiji in pregame, like once they step foot on the beach, a lot of that goes out the door, I'm sure. When you're in the game and you have those first impressions where you're having those conversations, sometimes it's that first conversation that really makes an impact versus really just eyeing and sizing up each other. So I don't try to think too much into that. I do think that Emily being super direct and not being a good liar are really bad qualities, because you don't have to be a great liar, but you have to be able to like do it. And you shouldn't, if it's something that you just can dish out and say that I'm obviously bad at it, like it's not a good thing to say. Hopefully, I don't know. I think you might have the grenade on your hands, but at the same time, like there's a world where she does significantly
I do.
well. So let's just see. We have everybody. We have everybody's team. Steven, we don't have to necessarily, go into depth, but who's got who? Let's remind each other of who's got who and kind of just wrap this shindig up. Yeah,
okay.
We don't need to go over Govind's because it's right fucking behind him. Bruce is just hiding there. Sifu and Sean.
Do that so quickly.
Yeah. Also, I do want to just really quick mention just a couple things about Sean, because I feel like we were talking a lot about Emily. So for Govind's pick for Sean, he said that he thinks a strength of his is connection building and relationship building. So that's good, but I feel like everyone says that's their strength. He thinks he's going to play similar to Todd Herzog, make strong and strategic partnerships with multiple people and be able to let them go when it no longer benefits his game. I think that's a great strategy. I just don't know if he'll be able to use that because I think he'll be an early boot. He just finished his doctorate in researching human connection. So yeah, just boosting.
Are we adding? Or let's just add an additional $5. Who gets first out of those two? like now that's the question.
There's too many bets. We're gonna need like someone to write the bets down, and then we can just.
Oh yeah, we definitely we gotta watch it back, write down all the bets. We'll let everybody know in our next podcast.
Put me in, coach. Sean is the grenade. I'll bet money with anyone.
Caleb also said that he's the weakest guy and an early somebody who he would want to target early pre-merge. But Emily also says that she doesn't want to work with Caleb. She thinks that he's going to want to be in charge and like have a big personality, and she doesn't really like his vibe right off the bat. So that could cause Caleb to go after Emily if Emily so obviously wants to get rid of Caleb. And then Caleb might want to get after Sean because he thinks Sean is weak. So anything can happen. It's one of us is gonna have someone out on the yellow tribe first.
It won't be me.
I'm so
Raise your hand if you feel like you have the grenade.
Govind.
Raise your hand if you feel like you have the grenade. So it's just Steve that's like fully.
Govind, I honestly think you got the weakest tribe, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Congratulations. I'll laugh my way to the bank.
No, if you put your bank on Sifu.
I don't think Sifu is a guaranteed not first boot.
But that's the only one that I like
boot.
Bruce a lot too, though. That's the thing. I like Bruce, but y'all love Sifu. I don't love Sifu.
Yeah, remember in season 41, the first boot was this big guy. So it could be Sifu. You never know.
I would like to throw out another bet. I know I already got the brand for Sifu bet with Govind. Sifu, if Red Tribe makes it to tribal as that tribe, Sifu is the first person going in that tribe.
Okay, I'll bet my 401k against that.
I mean, I would. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, write that one down.
Because if for some reason he loses his vote or Austin loses his vote, and then they want to keep around Drew because of puzzles.
Jared, are you writing down that I owe you my 401k?
I absolutely. I think you have a nice 401k.
Someone's making a lot of money off this one.
Right. Well, look.
Yeah, so let's go over all of the teams.
Yeah.
So Pat, he has Jake, Drew, and Katura. We got Madison with Sabaya, Austin, and Hannah. We have J West with Kelly, Caleb, and Julie. We got Jared with Brando, D, and Kendra.
BDK.
We got Govind with Sifu, Bruce, and Sean. And then I have Brandon, J Maya, and Emily. I got Brandon, my fellow LRG and org player. We got J Maya, singer-songwriter, and we got Emily.
Why does your team get the extra love?
Yeah, what the
because
fuck?
I wanted to give it some extra love, you know?
Right.
Good luck this season, y'all. Hope y'all all lose.
Yeah, well,
But
look, we got through the draft. We want to appreciate everyone who listened to the draft. I think that, all these teams are pretty even keel here. I think mine's significantly better, but I think the other 5 are pretty even.
I don't know. I think mine's pretty good if I can get past the grenade. I think Brandon and J Maya have a really good chance of winning.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it all shakes out. Survivor 45 premieres September 27th, Wednesday. We'll be back with you. We'll recap episode 1. If you want to see any of these faces again, let us know, and we'll be back. So thanks, everybody, for listening.